Hey guys, it's Neil again from Heart of Texas Armory, and today I've got another video review of a new Phoibos watch. So the one you see here, this beautiful little dive watch you see in front of you, is a Phoibos Reef Master. This is a brand new, all original design from Phoibos that was just released. And I'm lucky enough to have this watch come into my shop here. It's been on a watch tour from Aaron over at the OFD channel, so definitely go check him out. And it's going to be going out to Scott at Watches Galore next, and then continuing on the tour to a few other watch channels, so be on the lookout for reviews from those guys too. I'll provide links to all of those guys down in the video description. But wow, what a beautiful watch. Look at this awesome looking design and quite the value too, guys. So the way I'm going to handle this review, I'm going to first, you're going to see it here, of course, just on my wrist, so you can see what it looks like. I have about a 6 7/8 inch wrist here. This watch is about a 42 millimeter watch, so it's about the upper limit for me. But what I'll do is you'll see it here on the wrist, and then I'll zoom in. We'll look at the watch in a little more detail, and then we'll have a few talking points, and then close the review out with positives and negatives. But this watch is quite spectacular, guys. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and zoom in, and we're going to look at this thing in a little more detail. All right, guys, we're zoomed in here so we can take a closer look at this beautiful watch from Phoibos, the Reef Master. So let me go ahead and slide it over just a little bit here so we can have these specs pop up on the left-hand side of the screen. And what you're looking at with this watch is a 42 millimeter case, which is a little large, but it's still wearable for most of us. I have a 6 inch and 7/8 wrist here, and it wears perfectly fine for me, although it is on the upper end. You're looking at 45.5 if you include the crown. So from this side to all the way to the edge of that crown there, you're looking at 45.5 millimeters. Your lug width here is 22 millimeters, so it's a standard size. You should have no problem finding plenty of strap options if you decided to change out the strap. Your lug to lug is 48, so that is from here to the top of that lug there, 48 millimeters. And that's a good length there. I'm glad that they decided to shorten that. I think if it would have been 50 millimeters or larger, I don't think I would have liked this watch as much as I do. So I'm glad that they had a short lug to lug. That way it can fit wrist sizes around mine. And then the weight with this, with the leather strap here, you're looking at 108 grams. Your movement here is the Seiko NH35, which is a movement we all know and love. It is reliable, it's affordable, it's easy to work on. It's just a great movement that a lot of watch companies are going with this type of price range. So let's take a look here at some more details that I want to discuss. So looking at the dial here, you'll notice it has the beautiful octopus logo there. I'm calling the King Octopus, I guess, but I call it the King Octo. Really cool logo. I'm really glad to see that they are moving forward and using that logo throughout the watch. You'll notice it has a beautiful sandwich dial. Now, it's really hard to show that, particularly on camera, but what that is just you have a levels of your dial here. So you have the black, what you see, that's one level. The white, actually like the 6, the 9, the 12, those are actually a recessed level down below the black. So it adds depth. And then, of course, you have a date wheel here for your date, and that's another level. So it has a lot of 3D depth, and it's something you have to have it in your hand to actually appreciate. You could probably catch it a little bit on camera, but definitely impressive. This is my first watch that I've had in my possession that had a sandwich dial, and it's definitely very cool. I will say, you know, this watch does wear a little large. So Phoibos measures or lists this at 42 millimeters. That's what I'm getting on my calipers, but I feel it wears about the same as something like this, which is the Casio Duro. Now, the Casio Duro is listed at 44 millimeters. Now, the reason why it looks similar in size to this and wears similar in size, although slightly smaller, is because that dial is actually very large. So it seems bigger than it is. So it's going to wear very similar to this watch here, this Casio Duro. Now, another watch by Phoibos, which this is one of my personal watches that I really love, is this one here. This is their quartz model, the 300-meter dive watch. Now, this one here is also a 42 millimeter, but it wears a little smaller. Even though the lug to lug is longer, look at the dial size. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera, but the actual dial is smaller, so it looks smaller on the wrist. This one's going to look a little larger, have a little more wrist presence, so keep that in mind. It does wear a bit large. I would say it wears like a 43 or 44 millimeter, even though it's listed at the 42. Now, the crystal is something I want to make special note of. This is also very cool. This is a sapphire crystal, which is impressive at this price point. But it is double domed. Look at that dome. Just awesome. So you're getting, you can see all that reflection that you're getting, which it is spectacular out in the sunlight. That is because of that double dome sapphire crystal. And that is a huge, awesome point here to talk about for a watch in this price point, which is, again, I don't know if I even mentioned the price yet, but you're looking at $229 for this watch shipped to your door. That is crazy that you're getting double dome sapphire, and it's actual sapphire crystal. It's not mistakenly labeled like some of these other brands. Another benefit here, guys, we want to talk about is the bezel in the bezel insert. So you're getting a ceramic bezel, which is another just huge bonus here in this price point. I've never seen a watch with this many features at this price point. It is quite spectacular. So you're getting a ceramic bezel here. Ceramic bezels, they just have a certain depth to them. They almost have like a liquid look to them. You can see all that reflection you're getting off there. Just beautiful. And that bezel insert is loomed as well, which is really nice. So that's definitely a bonus. Another thing, since I mentioned the loom on this is quite spectacular. So you're looking at 15 layers of BGW9 Super Luminova loom here. So it is a fireball at night. So you should be seeing a video pop in right now of this thing in the dark. And wow, the loom is quite impressive. It will last throughout the night. If you charge it up at night, right before you go to bed, it will still be easily readable 8, 10, maybe 12 hours, later when you wake up. Very impressive loom. In fact, this is the best loom I've ever seen on a watch. I would say it is definitely on par with a Seiko. Seiko has excellent loom, and this watch here from Phoibos is definitely on par with those. Now, let's also talk about the actual bezel. The bezel is quite awesome. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here or refocus. If I can, it's sometimes difficult when I'm this close up. There we go. The action on it and the sound is simply the best I have ever felt on a watch. It is as good as a Rolex Submariner or better. Very precise. Everything lines up. It has the perfect amount of tension. It's just a wonderful, wonderful bezel. I don't know what it is. It's just a joy to use. Look how that thing just lines up. It's very precise, guys. Certainly the best bezel action I've ever felt on a watch. And there's hardly any backplay, really none at all, which is another impressive feature with this. Now, the movement I already mentioned is a Seiko NH35, and I find that to be a positive just because, one, they keep time. I'm getting about plus 10 seconds with this particular watch over the last week. So it's actually very reliable and accurate. And if you ever did need to have replacement parts, or if you wanted to upgrade something on it, it's just one of the most common movements out there. So I find it to be a huge bonus that they have an NH35. Now, the last thing I want to mention is the strap. You can see I've got it here on this leather strap, which is very comfortable. But they also give you a second strap here, which is a rubber dive strap, and it's also high quality. You can see it's labeled Phoibos. They both are here. And in fact, on the leather, they actually embossed that King Octo logo onto the leather strap, which is a nice touch. So definitely just a awesome overall package here. Your crown, look at this, guys. They also put, I don't know if I'll be able to get this to focus or not. If not, I'll put a still picture up. Let's see if I can get this to focus here. But if I can't, tell you what, let me back out a little bit. 1 second, guys, and I'm going to zoom out. All right, guys, I'm back here. Let's go ahead and focus so we can let you take a look at that crown. There we go. You can see it does have the octopus logo also on the crown, which is a nice touch. And the crown is well done. In fact, all the machining on this is impressive. It's very precise. The quality of this machine work here is second to none. I have a CNC machine, so this type of stuff really jumps out to me. It is spectacular. Now, this watch here apparently is their first watch that they recently switched over their manufacturer to a Hong Kong-based company, and it is certainly much improved over the Chinese manufacturer. Not that the Chinese was bad, but this is better. Just the quality of this machine work. Look at the back here on the case back, this awesome engraving. The brushing on this watch, which is kind of a matte brush here, vertical brush going from top to bottom, is just exquisite. Really spectacular. So awesome, awesome watch. So let's close out with the positives and negatives with this watch. So some of the positives that I'd like to mention is the incredible value. So at $229 or $239, there are other models of this watch, which you should be seeing pictures of those pop up right now. They've got 5 different color combinations, and also they have cases that are DLC coded, which is also cool. So, you know, just incredible value at $220 getting all these features. I think this is probably the best dive watch under $500, or if it's not, it's right up there in the top 3. But it might be the best for the money. So you're getting a sapphire crystal, a double dome sapphire crystal. That's a huge positive here. The bezel action is just smooth, precise, satisfying, no backplay. Just one of the best bezels I've ever felt. Well done there, guys. Well done, Phoibos. Just the overall quality, you know, everything from, you know, winding the watch, which you can. This, you know, of course, NH35, you can hack it. It just feels, everything is just quality on it, you know, down to the straps even. But, you know, the crown action is just awesome. Great sound too, you know, popping out the detents. You can see the watch is hacked there. You know, the feel of it winding, the feel of it screwing in the crown. It just feels like a watch that should be $1,000. I'm serious. Another bonus with this is the loom. I mean, it has some of the best loom I've ever seen. So, you know, huge positive there. The watch keeps good time. I mean, it plus 10 seconds a day, that's not bad. I'm sure you could even regulate this to be even more accurate if you wanted to. You get a sandwich dial. So, I mean, these are all features that you would think you would spend twice, 3 times as much as what this watch costs. You get a 300-meter water rating, so you could actually go diving with this watch. This is a dive watch, guys, and you could actually do that with that 300-meter water resistance. Now, the negatives, I'll say, there's not many. I mean, the only things I would say is that the rotor, so the automatic movement in here, is a little loud. I don't even know if y'all guys can hear it. You may not be able to hear that or not, but it's a little loud. It's not noticeable unless you get really close, but that is one thing. That's just a tiny little nitpick. Another little nitpick I'll say is that the bezel, although it is high quality, feels good, it's a little sharp. So these edges here, let's see if we can get a better, there we go. That edge right here is a little sharp. You know, they could have just maybe just rounded that just a little with the bevel. But again, these are very, very, very minor nitpicks. And then the last thing, it's not really a negative. It's just something I wish they would have done. You know, with them providing an extra strap here, it would have been nice if they had drilled lugs. I think this is a straight up tool watch, and it would have been nice if they do drilled lugs. I'm hoping that Phoibos does that at some point in the near future on one of their watches. But that's really it. That is really the only negatives I'm able to find with this particular watch. This is an absolute home run from Phoibos. I highly recommend you to pick one of these up. The quality is exceptional for the money. I got to send this watch out to Scott over at Watches Galore, and I'm really sad to see it go. I really would love to keep this watch. I possibly might purchase one. The only thing that's holding me off is the upcoming Eagle Ray, and I think I'm going to hold off and just grab that one. But if this watch appeals to you, the look of it, the overall quality of it, you know, you should definitely pick one up. I highly recommend this. This is another exceptional watch from Phoibos. They just keep getting better and better. Even, you know, the last model, the Wave Master, that was also a really nice watch. But wow, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video review. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll do my best to answer them. So once again, this is Neil at Heart Attacks Only. I hope you guys take care. I'll catch you on the next one.